Hi guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. I am going to be doing something really exciting, something that I've been looking forward to doing for quite a while now, and that is I have created a original tag. Well, a second original tag, the first one being the Krampus book tag, which I did last year, and I will be bringing it back this year, so no worries about that. But this one I wanted to do a tag around the Halloween period. And the idea about this is the concept of fear and what scares people. And this tag is called Fear the Booktuber Tag. I will have all the questions linked down below, so please feel free to do this original tag that I created. So question 1, your deepest, darkest fear. Now this can be physical or psychological or more of a phobia. I have chosen cats. Now, I like cats. I don't mind cats. If a cat was in my room, I wouldn't give a rat's ass. And if I was to walk past the cat on the street, I would be more likely to say, who's a pretty tat, and all that baby talk. Where the fear comes in is that I cannot physically touch or pet a cat or have it really near me. I suppose this comes into when I was a small boy and I used to stay with my dad's parents, and they used to have this long-haired cat that used to be like a real vicious sod that every time you tried to stroke it or pet it or give it any attention, it would go. It was a real vicious. I can't swear on this channel, but you get the point. And it was like, I'm trying to give you some love and attention, and you're trying to claw my face off. And I suppose that's where the fear comes in. But yeah, I won't physically and cannot physically touch a cat. Question 2, which is a two-parter. I had these questions originally separate, but I've put them both together. So that is question 2. What's the scariest novel you have read this year? And who's your new favourite scary author you have read this year? So the scariest novel that I've read this year has got to go to Shout From a Rooftop by Bart J. Gilbertson. So not a lot of things scare me. I've watched numerous movies and I've read numerous books, and I've got a very high tolerance level of what can horrify me or creep me out. But what's scary about Bart's book is that it is heavily inspired by reality. Most of the things that happened in that book actually happened. And it's about a group of small girls that come together for a sleepover, and this strange man invades their home for some unknown reason and tries to terrify them and scare them and harm them for reasons that we aren't really familiar and very clear about. And the concept of a home invader is really scary. It's supposed to be a place that we feel safe and secure in, and someone invading that area really terrifies all of us. And my new favourite scary author that I've read this year has got to go to Anne Rice. I've only read Interview with a Vampire, which I need to read a lot more. I've got loads of her books in my room, so I've got no excuse. Maybe I will read one of them during the Halloween period, and it seems to be a good time to read an Anne Rice book. Question 3. What novel/series are you too scared to read? And I've put in brackets any genre, so it doesn't have to be horror. It can be sci-fi or fantasy or non-fictional, whatever. So the series I've chosen is Game of Thrones, and I know that's not what it's originally or officially called, but that's what I'm going to be referring to it as. I have got the first 3 or 4 books, brand new, of that series in my room. I've had them pretty much since the first season came out, but I haven't read them. And that's probably why I'm so into horror, is that it's more like when you read a book, it's more like one and done. There is no series that you have to follow up. It's usually, well, mostly a trilogy or whatever. But with fantasy books, there are massive like bricks, and there is usually about 20 billion books in that series. Well, not really, but you get the point. So if you read one and you like it, you feel compelled to read all of the books. And I know that there's a very high possibility that I am going to enjoy Game of Thrones and that whole series, but it's just the time commitment and reading all the books and trying to fit them in that really scares me. Question 4. What frighteningly good horror author you feel needs more attention on Booktube? Sean Hudson. How come every horror tuber I watch their videos, no matter who they are, guy or girl, if they are doing a book review, book hauls, wrap-ups, TBRs, whatever, how come Sean Hudson is never mentioned in any of their videos? Why the hell not? He is a fantastic horror writer that is still alive today, and he writes fantastic stuff. Yes, some of the topics that he writes about can be very, very oddball and topics that people nowadays would go nowhere near, and it's really horrific about what he writes. But the characters are really compelling. You care about them. You go on this journey with them, and you are worried for them, and you're rooting for them. And the story, even though it's nothing, even though it's not Shakespeare or anything like that, it's not going to win any awards. The writing style is really good, and it has a real good flow, and he's just a expert storyteller, and I'm just completely baffled about why people in the horrortube community that I follow anyway aren't talking about Sean Hudson more. Seriously, guys, you do need to read some Sean Hudson. I've got a ton of his books in my room right now, and I am always trying to read even more of Sean Hudson. And, I just feel it's a crime that no one's talking about him as much as he rightly deserves. Question 5. What's your favourite scary movie? Now, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking, right, what movie would I like to watch on Halloween night? And that has got to be the original Evil Dead movie. Even though the second movie is arguably superior than the first, it has more of a comedic twist to it, rather than the first one that was more like shock horror and more like serious horror movie stuff. And I might have said this in this video. I can't remember. I've edited this and shot this. Well, I've shot this video numerous times, but my tolerance for what scares me is very high. But the practical effects in Evil Dead are mind-blowing, and it's even more shocking that, it's a testament that anyone can get a group of their friends together, get some basic, filming equipment, have a rough idea about how to shoot a movie and, all their techniques to it. And with a good and decent storyline, you can film something, not just horror, that is a real decent bit of footage. And even when I was filming my Halloween intro, there were even some shots in that I was inspired, that movie inspired me to do and put in my intro. That was when I was walking along a path and I was holding my phone, or my camera on my phone, and I was like tilting it as I was walking down, and it was just something that I was thinking, that would be a really, really off-putting shot. And when I was like walking along a path and there were all these tombstones around me, I put my camera really low to the ground and just walked, and I sped up that footage, and it looked really cool. And there were shots that the movie inspired me to do. Evil Dead is probably one of my favourite scary movies. Question 6. Whose channel produces the scariest videos? That's got to go to Pax Panic. I am extremely, extremely proud about how far Pax has come as a creator and as a booktuber, and as an individual as well. I remember when I came across her channel and I watched the very first video that I watched on her channel, which was called the Friday the 13th book tag or something along them lines. And how when I look at that video and where she is now, and I can see the difference, not just in her thumbnails and in her setting, and pretty sure her favourite colour is green, even though I'm not entirely 100% sure about that. The way that she talks and presents herself, and when she talks, she doesn't really give a crap about what people think And it's like, okay, here I am. This is the book I'm talking about today. Take it or leave it. You can either like it or dislike it. You don't have to watch it. This is the book that I'm going to be talking about. I like it, and that's all that matters. So her attitude about not giving a rat's ass is very inspirational. And if you're looking to actually read something that's extremely oddball and stuff that's flying underneath the radar and really unusual stuff, she doesn't really read anything that's mainstream, then I would highly recommend that you check out Pax's channel. I will have a link down below. Question 7. A new horrortuber whose sub count is terrifyingly low that deserves more attention. I had to give this to 2 booktubers as I couldn't decide between these 2 individuals. The first one comes from a young lady called Michelle. Now, unfortunately, I cannot say her surname, so I will have it up here somewhere. So, apologies, Michelle, I cannot say your surname. But she has been on Booktube for 1 month, and in that extremely ridiculously short time frame, she has firmly stamped her authority and her presence on the horrortube community. Yes, she's more likely to talk about mainstream horror books, but when she is talking, you can see it in the way that she's discussing things, that she has a deep passion and appreciation towards horror novels and creepy stories and all things in that genre. And I find her channel to be extremely enjoyable, extremely entertaining, and I just feel that people should be watching her channel even more. So I'll have a channel link down below, so highly recommend, guys. The second booktuber is not a conventional booktuber. He doesn't do any reviews, he doesn't do any book hauls, any TBRs, wrap-ups, tag videos, or anything like that. And that channel is called DR Animations. Now I have to give credit to Pax Panic here, as she brought this channel to my attention, so I've got to give Pax some credit for that. His channel is unique. As it says in his channel name, he focuses on animations. Now he draws all these by himself. Now his style is a really, really oddball and more creepier version of Tim Burton's art style, if that's even possible. He hasn't got any voiceovers, but he's told me that he is working on it. But he does all these drawings by hand, by himself, and he animates it, and it's all silent, but when you're watching it, it has words on the screen, which you can read it and as you're watching it. And it's all short. It won't take you too long to watch any of his videos, but I really find them extremely enjoyable and creepy as hell to watch. And I've even told him that he should, make a collection of all of his artwork. That'd be really cool to have in a little book. All of his videos seem to get hundreds and hundreds of views, but his sub count is really terrifyingly low. Last time I looked, it was about 41 subscribers. And if you want to watch any booktubers or horrortubers that are outside the standard stuff that you watch on here, and you want to watch something that's extremely unusual, extremely different, then I couldn't possibly recommend his channel even more. So I'll have his channel linked down below. Question 8. If you met Pennywise, what fictional character or creature would it turn into? Now I have decided to answer both the character and the creature section, but you can pick one or the other. The character is the bride from Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Core, and I cannot believe I'm talking about this book yet again. In my review for it, I classified this book as a failure in the horror genre, and I stand by that. It should have been longer. But the way that Cassandra wrote the bride, this faceless demons that was in this mansion, the way it moved and tormented our characters was extremely unsettling, extremely scary and creepy as hell. I mean, I would hate to be walking home at night and come across that. And the creature that I've chosen is Shelob from Lord of the Rings. Now, if you aren't familiar, Shelob is a massive ass spider. I mean, I don't like the small spiders that we get now. I mean, I'll just get a rolled up newspaper and kill the thing. But it's having this massive spider that enjoys tormenting and enjoys killing and teasing its prey and hunting and all that stuff is truly terrifying. Question 9. What novel scared you so much it gave you nightmares or made you uncomfortable? That has got to go to a book that's not horror, and that is The Green Mile by Stephen King. And the scene that truly horrified me and made me feel really uncomfortable was the execution of Edward Delacroix. The way that Stephen King writes how Dell dies in the electric chair is truly horrific. You have to be a real tough person in order to read that scene or chapter or whatever and not be fazed by it. The way that Dell is in the chair and he has the hood over his head, and how old Sparky is turned on and all this smoke comes up, and how Dell screams in agony and how his eyeballs pop, and like it will make you so uncomfortable, and it is a real creepy ass scene, and I'm even getting uncomfortable with now with just by talking about it and thinking about it. And question 10, which isn't a question, which is tag the scariest booktubers you know. Now, before my camera dies on me, I'm just going to read these out, and they are Adam Rodriguez, Afrodo, Book Rising, Books of Blood, Brookie Horror, Cherry Actually Reads, Criminally, E.D. Lewis Reviews, Elizabeth Sagewood, Fiber Artsy, Gloria McNally, Happy Haunts Library, Horror Gardener, Kayla Lenzen, Lady Jane Books, Marissa Bailey, Michelle's channel, which I will have on screen. Apologies, Michelle, I can't say your surname. Apologies for that. Nymeria, October Library, Pax Panic, Played by Visions, Reading and Whatnot, Regina's Haunted Library, Steve Talks Books, and Mr. Morningstar. I will have all these questions linked down below, so please feel free to do this tag if you want to. And if you don't want to, there's no pressure. And if I haven't tagged you, consider yourself tagged. And as I said, I will have all these questions for this original tag linked down below. And all I ask is if you do this video, just have the little @ symbol and my channel name, just so I can see your video and watch it. So guys, that has been my second original tag video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you're excited to do it. And please let me know down below if you are going to be doing this tag video, if it's something that you are going to be doing, so I can be aware of it. And please let me know what you thought about it, as a whole. So yeah, with all that out of the way, I better let you go, guys, before my phone dies. So I will see you in my next video. Bye.